I am going to ask you to make a commitment tonight. Yes, this is the ask. But before I ask for that, I'm going to ask for something even more important, and I'm going to explain it and say a little bit about why I have been so committed to climate solutions and given so much of my life to this organization. And to do it and to illustrate it, I want to show you our extremely spiffy new logo. Isn't that cool? In addition to the awesome graphics, the thing I want to point out about this is, Climate Solutions is kind of an audacious name for an organization this size, or an organization of any size for that matter. And in order for it to be real, to be serious about words that big, to make that phrase meaningful, it has to be about a whole lot more than what goes on in our little Old Town office and in our Seattle office. And we are super proud of what we do, and we're going to get a lot done this year. But if it's really climate solutions, it's got to be a lot bigger than that. And ironically, if you capitalize climate solutions, you make it smaller, because then it's just sort of an organizational brand. And so we got rid of the capital C, capital S, and you'll notice that we're now called Climate Solutions, small c, small s. And there's meaning in that. We are firmly committed to the proposition that those words mean something. They have to mean something a whole heck of a lot bigger than our staff is ever going to accomplish. They are only meaningful if we make this commitment and if we believe in those words in a way that unites and empowers all of the small things that we all do that qualify as climate solutions or reduce emissions into something as big and bold and world-changing as it needs to be in order to live up to the size of those words. So small c, small s, you, Portland, really, as much as any community in the Northwest and in this room, really are that. And that's the spirit in which I want to ask you to make this commitment. You've also heard us using more and more of this good old trusty World War II rhetoric. We can, we will, we must. You don't work on climate for as long as I've worked on it without getting to be a little bit of an amateur psychologist and working your way through some of these denial issues. And it turns out that turns out to be sort of the three-legged psychological stool of climate action. If you don't invoke and believe and manifest all of those three, you're in danger of slipping off into denial or despair or someplace else that's not as powerful. So you need all three, but it really all starts with we can, right? Rosie didn't say we must do it. She said we can do it. Cesar Chavez said, "Si se puede." Obama said, "Yes, we can." And there's a reason that you start with that and you make your logo about that. That sense of effectiveness and collective agency is what unlocks the power for us to believe in words as big as climate solutions and a transition as big and bold and hard as we're going to have to make. And we can really is the core proposition of climate solutions. That is what we're all about, demonstrating together. That's about what we commit to each other and give to each other, because no one of us is doing anything big enough to imagine that we might overcome climate solutions. No one organization is doing anything big enough. We can only believe in that proposition. We can only believe that we can if we commit ourselves and each other to that proposition. And if you think about what we're up against, and boy, we saw it, $31 million worth of it in Washington this fall. You think about what our opposition says. They don't say, no, clean energy is really a bad idea. Don't do that. Fossil fuel dependence forever is really rocks, right? Nobody says that. Nobody believes that. They can't beat us with that. They can only beat us by saying, yeah, it sounds good, but you can't really do that. It's too big. It's too hard. It's too expensive. Oregon's too small of a state. It's too late. It's too inconvenient. It's too whatever. No, you can't ends up being the essence of our opposition message. And when you think about that, that puts us in a pretty good position. But it really does emphasize that we have to lean in with our bodies and our hearts in a big way and to each other to confirm this proposition in order to overcome what we're up against. So I want to ask everybody to stand up for a moment, and we're going to make a little commitment to each other. Stand up. It is time. I'm going to get my Rosie on right here. Get your Obama on. Get your Cesar Chavez on. We're going to say some words to each other right now. So here's how this is going to work, and I haven't tried this before, so you got to kind of work with me here, okay? I'm going to put a word up on the screen, and I'm going to go boom, and when I do this, we're all going to say the word together. You ready? Okay, here's how it goes. Ready? Yes! Very good. Almost as good as we need to get. Now, we're not going to practice this a whole lot, but, you know, I know that there's a lot of certified smart people in this room, some people who are a little skeptical about the hopey-changey, rah-rah, red bandana stuff, right? I just want to ask you, don't overthink this thing, all right? It's not a calculation. It's not an integrated resource plan. It's a stance. We're going to take this thing together, so just don't put your brain away. Just do this with your lungs, okay? So let me try this one more time. We'll do the same word because you're getting some practice on this. Ready? Yes! Yes! That's good, okay. I'm a little worried, though, that some of you might still be thinking, okay, this dude's going to ask me for money in a minute. And if I emote too much, if I get too far into this, then it might start to sort of imply that I'm going to make a bigger donation than I was really hoping to make. You know? So I just want to tell you that the dangers of unchecked climate disruption are so great. And the dangers of writing too big of a check tonight are so tiny. Okay? Just relax. Don't worry about it. Let this thing go. Let it come out of your belly. All right? Here we go. You ready? This is going to work. And don't do it when the thing comes up. Do it when I go like this. All right? Next word's going to come up. We. Definitely. Absolutely. Bet your ass. Yes. Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we need right now.